Assalamu alaikum, Ivan, Vanakkam. A segment which I do in my training programs with the youth and certain corporate teams always has garnered 80 to 90% of the time, and sometimes almost 95+% of the time, the same result. The segment is based on each individual. I ask them, tell me a time which was the most happiest in your life, and tell me a time which was the most scariest or the saddest. The reason I do this is to link them up to a certain element which I will touch upon in a little while, and which will be clear. So when they do this, most of the individuals, so we start off with the most scariest or the saddest, and then I go into the happiest. And that is also to get them to touch deep into their thought process, start really thinking deep, and also to finish off with thinking about something happy so that they finish off their thought process with something satisfying. And most often than not, this exercise also becomes very emotional, because when you talk about a time where it was the scariest or the saddest, it links up to something which really shook them. And the result, 80 to 85% of the time, I would say in certain instances, close up to a 90-95, it's always to do with family. In the happiest moments and in the scariest and saddest moments, it's most often family which is involved. There is an element of achievement in jobs, in new jobs you have received, in certain victories, but more often and most often it's about family, and family is linked up. And then we bring out from that point onwards, how many people have appreciated their family at the time, your mother, your father, if they are alive. And I've touched upon this in my previous videos. How many of us have been grateful? How many of us have given them a hug, maybe today, maybe a week back, and said, I love you, mom, I love you, dad. And very often, again, this result has been, most of them haven't. And that's not because we are bad to our parents, we don't love our parents. It's just that the rat race of life has taken over, and we have taken family, parents in general, for granted. So then we bring this link back to saying whatever happens, as we know, the saddest and happiest times in our life involves family. And the people who have parents, the youth especially, they are living with their parents. It is our parents who are part of our family. So no matter what, we need to ensure, however busy we get, try to bring yourself back into that balance where you appreciate and you are grateful for your family, and you tell them, and you find time to spend time with them, and you tell them that you love them more often. And that in turn gives you more satisfaction, gives you more contentment, gives you more happiness. This is a balance which we should strive for. I struggle with it. It's very tough. And I'm sure all of us do too. But it's a part of life. And when we get this balance right sometimes, and at other times when we are working on this balance, that's where true satisfaction comes in. And that makes it that much worthwhile. I wish you all the very best to be more appreciative of family. Have a beautiful balance. Work towards a balance, trying to maintain that balance. There are times it's going to go up, there are times it's going to go down, but striving towards it, maintaining it, and appreciating family and telling them you love them a little more often than what we do now. I wish you all the very best. Assalamu alaikum.